Love them or hate them, social medias would be a totally different place without them. There were always some kind of sponsored post and brands trying to present themselves via media, influencers, and all that kind of stuff. On this panel, I would like to introduce you to our guests, influencers from Serbia, that is Dex, Darko, Dule, Dušan, and Biljana, Bidžovan. So, hello guys, how are you today?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Hi, how are you?
Nice. So, some of previous panels were about marketing agencies, and they were talking about some marketing strategies and how they work with influencers. So let's talk a little bit, let's take a brief look about that and talk a little bit what is the way of working with influencers from a perspective of marketing agencies. It is important for agencies to have a better ethical criteria when they are choosing with whom they are working with, or it is not. Is it forgiven because it is just a show business, or they should be more careful about ethical requirements for people that are working with them? Who would like to answer? You can choose by yourself. Okay, Dule.
Okay, I can answer. Actually, I made a lot of notes because we can talk about this subject like for a really long time, but I will try to be as quick as I can. Of course, I think that all agency priority is to have a high ethical criteria. Unfortunately, we were all witness that is not the case. We are witness of many bad campaigns. For example, one of the biggest supermarkets in Serbia made the Back to the School campaign, and one of the main promoters, I mean, one influencer who not even didn't finish high school was promoting that Back to the School thing. So that was kind of funny, and I understand why it's funny, but at the one hand, that made a huge impact in the sales of school accessories because not finishing that high school was some kind of meme. At the other hand, the message was super wrong because the audience didn't know that. Actually, audience did know that that influencer have thoughts about school and as an institution. So I understand that the agency made a good profit for that brand, but the message, like I said, was super wrong. And to be honest, I personally will never buy any school accessories from that brand anymore. And also, I will not cooperate with that agency. So that was the damage for the people who understand the whole situation. And the name for that is integrity. And I think that all the agency must have their own integrity, which must be based on high moral principles. Don't take me wrong; it's super okay to earn the money. We all want to earn the money, but the way you're earning that money is equally important. So I think that agency must have like high ethical criteria for that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Dušan. I personally have denied over 80% of sponsorships throughout the years. And I consider this a privilege because Instagram and YouTube were never my job. So I'm not saying this in a snobbish way, but rather from a perspective of someone who is unbiased. A lot of brands wanted me to be too top shoppy for my taste. And I think they're very generic and they're not really looking into the influencer. So I really agree with Dušan here. A lot of brands write a generic email to many influencers. They write a generic post they should use, and everything is very generic. I've even had brands not knowing my name. They tell me, oh, we'll love your content. We think you would be great for this. And then they mistaken my name. And I'm not an egomaniac. And I'm not like, oh, you couldn't mistake my name. But it's really unprofessional. It all seems very dishonest. So I really think that nowadays people are running away away from generic things, and everything is becoming more honest, and people can really look into the BS online very easily and much easier than before. So we can have an example of Emma Chamberlain, if you've heard of her. She started as a thrift shopper YouTuber, and now she's collaborating with Louis Vuitton. So she's someone who really loves fashion, but in an ordinary way. And now she's collaborating with one of the biggest luxury fashion brands in the history. She even got to attend Met Gala this year. And that is because the brand did not use her for her influence and many followers, but rather as someone who really adores fashion. So I think this is really the key to sponsorships nowadays, to let influencers be themselves and not dishonest. So I really agree with Dušan, what he said.
Thank you for your answers. At one point, brands were starting to invest some money in sponsored posts through influencers and not Facebook ads or Google ads or anything like that. Why were they so much interested in public figures on social media? Dule, you have the oldest project here on YouTube and your blog and everything. Can you tell me something about the beginning with sponsored posts?
In short, at the beginning, there was dark, dramatic music in the background. The solar system we knew never existed. Okay, I'm joking.
Okay.
In short, why they are approaching to the influencers? Because if you just look at that word, influencers, the root of that word is influence. So they knew that they can sell something through the influencers. They can accomplish some task through the influencer. I grew up with the internet, and I always knew that that virtual space is huge marketing potential, and I also knew that in one moment that virtual space will be more real than television, for example. If we compare, for example, television and YouTube. On television, you will always see the people in the ties. They're talking like professionally. Everything is tight. Everything is how to explain it. It's not natural, in short. But at the other hand, on YouTube, I can do like this, or I can do like this, or I can just I can just woke up and take some coffee and start some live and talk to the audience. And that is more natural because we're seeing that all the time. And that was like huge people realized that, and they made a totally different mindset. And that is more real than television if you just think about it. At the start, we have a website, and we were selling banners from our website. And for example, companies from technology knew if I write some article about some technology, our audience will read it, and they will also see that banner. Then we click on that banner, because on that banner is some laptop, smartphone, or something like that. After that, YouTube became more popular, and then we started to working on YouTube from the simple reasons. If I rotate this telephone on the camera, people will realize three dimensions of this smartphone. But if we're talking about the website, it's totally different. It's pictures, and it's much faster, in short. So YouTube is straightforward, and that's the main reason why brands are approaching to us. At the first, they refuse. I was explaining to the brands why should they think about YouTube as a platform, and they refuse because they got used to it on traditional media such as radio, television, and stuff like that. And then I said to them, okay, I will do it this for free, and later we can discuss about numbers. When they realized that they have bigger numbers, at the end that I'm charging less, they realize how big impact we have, and you guys just do the math. I mean, they're paying less and they are getting more. So it's that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when people follow a certain influencer over some period of time, they really trust him or her. So it's the same as if you ask for a friend for a recommendation for a book, for example. You're always going to buy that book instead of the book you're seeing on TV being promoted, right? Because you really trust that person.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That can be the biggest problem here, because if you trust someone online with your heart and your mind, they can manipulate you to do all kinds of things, like the good things and the bad things. So that's the problem of the influencers era. But like, there are some people that are doing good things and some people that are doing bad things. So it's constant battle of good and bad things on online, as it was on the TV. But on the TV, you had like someone who was sitting with you and telling you what you can do and what you can't do. And on the internet, we don't have that here. So that's the mainly problem with working with influencers, because numbers can be huge and the moral can be really small.
Yeah.
And also, sorry, Biljana, please.
Of course. No, you can say whatever.
Okay. So there is one more thing. Every social media platform is a two-way street. What that means, for example, when I publish some video of mine, people will write in comments what they think about it. People will like or dislike that video, and I will know exactly what they think. But if we're talking about television and other traditional media, there is no two-way conversation. So it's tougher. I'm blessed that I'm always talking about the numbers, because technology is all about numbers. So for me, it's just to measure things. But like Darko said, it can be really, really tricky. And of course, it takes some time, but it takes some time for any media. If you think about what is wrong, what is good, and stuff like that.
Yes,
yeah. I just wanted to say that brand deals are, since the topic is whether brand deals are a blessing or a curse. So I think the brand deals are definitely a curse for someone who are simply doing it for the money, because eventually they will lose their integrity, because they will become top shop, right? Rather than being themselves. And on the other hand, brand deals represent a blessing for those who do it because they truly enjoy in the process and the product itself, because it will strengthen their integrity, because they will be honest and open about it. So it's a two-way street, as Dušan said.
Yes, when you have a lot of views and followers, it's not only attractive to local brands to contact you to promote their stuff. There is also international brands that want to use your social media power to attract new audience for their products in new regions, like, for example, in our region. So I wanted to ask Biljana, for example, have you worked with brands outside of our region, and is there any difference, and what have you experienced with that? How would you explain it to us?
Well, I have, and as someone who has been living on the internet from an early age, I must say I have noticed the difference. I think brands from abroad really allow people to be themselves more. As I mentioned, Emma Chamberlain before, if you remember, she's someone who, for example, curses sometimes when she promotes a brand, and not in an offensive way, but more of like being herself. She even burps in her videos. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everyone should do that per se. I'm saying brands should only choose people to promote them if they can handle their personality. So don't contact an influencer and tell them, hey, you can do this, but you can't do that, without knowing their personality. I think that is the key in a successful brand deal, right? So also there are many TikTokers who are very sarcastic, ironic, goofy when promoting a brand. And I think those promotions are the most successful because they're not lying. They're not fake, as Dušan said in the news when we see people or on TV like, you should buy this product because it's really great. And it's like people can sense that dishonesty. So I think domestic brands and brands in general should definitely focus on allowing people to be themselves and even say some maybe negative things they don't like about the brand, because it's really counterproductive if you only talk about the positives, because people can really see through the BS nowadays.
Does somebody have to add something, Dule or Dex, about international cooperations?
Oh, Biljana nailed it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
She said everything.
Making videos for brands are like making videos for yourselves if you are lucky and you don't get some requirements from brands to follow to make it. You guys, I wanted to ask Dex, for example, how do you make videos for brands? Is there any difference how you do that, and how to follow requirements but also still being yourself when you are doing it?
Well, sometimes it's not even possible because their request is, they require something you're not, and you can either not work with them or work with them, but like without your integrity. So that can be the problem. But like for me, the biggest problem is when you transform your content you're making into something you're not. And then the publicity sees that and they don't care about what you're talking because it's not honest. But like the worst mistakes are when some company calls an agency that calls an influencer and they're like, we want that guy to or that girl to promote this, but we want to do it especially on that kind of way. So that can be tricky because sometimes you can even lose followers because of that, and that can be the problem. So if you're asking me, I'm like,
There is some problem with internet connection for Dex.
I need to say that you can stay yourself, but you can also lose interest. This is I'm just kicked out.
Yeah, he went outside to get some connection. While Dex maybe fix his connection.
Basically,
Dule, would you like to hop into the answer?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Dex basically said everything. I mean, it can be really tricky, and that can be like huge trap, especially if a lot of money is on the table. Let's put it that way. But I realized like really quickly, and I only made that mistake once, like 7 or 8 years ago. In short, I was doing the thing, and brand was asking me, you should use this type of conversation. You must do it like this or that, and I did it because as I said, it was a lot of money on the table. Man. That video was horrible. Actually, I decided to delete that video and to return the money to the brand. And later we discussed a lot because that brand was really important to me, and I was really important to them. And I did it my way. It was much better. My audience was like, "Are you kidnapped? What is happening? Why are you talking like that? This is not Dušan. This is the robot that looks like Dušan and stuff like that." So it was really crazy.
Yeah, we mentioned money, and I think a lot of people that are watching would like to know. Me too. When I started this journey with making videos for sponsors, how to choose your price, how to make it to be like regular for sponsor and also for us, not to like go too much high or too much low? I'm sure you had experience with that too.
Well, that really depends on what your goals are. As I mentioned, this was never my job, so it was never a must for me. And I really think and believe that everyone has the right to determine their own price without having any remorse about it. And it's a stigma here if people are like, oh, that's too much money. No, it's not. You're paying for someone to talk about your brand. It's like it's a lot less money than paying a billboard, than paying a TV commercial. And I really think everyone has the right to determine their own price. And if the brand would not like to work with that, then fine. But I don't think people should sell themselves, because in the long term, it will damage their integrity. No matter what money is involved or whatever, I don't think they should ever sacrifice their integrity for a brand. I think the biggest brand when you're an influencer should be yourself, your own name. So that's kind of my take on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for.
I agree with Biljana. No, okay.
Yeah, continue. You wanted to add?
It's okay. I agree with Biljana.
Thank you very much for joining us on this panel. I'm sorry that Dex couldn't stay till the end, but I wanted to, like I said, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us, and we'll, I guess, see maybe on the next Brave New Media, where we will talk more about sponsors, because that is always a topic that people want to hear, that wants to make money on social medias. We'll now go to see a next video that is a music video spot about Hate Sloveni, made in Banja Luka from 3 actors from Bosnia and Herzegovina. So let's watch it.